Hey guys, welcome to the Retro Media Talk podcast. We're back with Steve Lago. I'm Steve Montgomery. We're talking about the 80s, and it's one of my all-time favorite decades. And we're going to be talking about our favorite, most watched TV shows. What do you think, Steve? Is it your favorite decade or second favorite decade?
You know, it's hard to it's hard. It's hard to decide. It's between the 70s and 80s for sure. But
yeah,
80s is probably 80s probably is just inching just a little bit ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so because we were a little older. We got to experience a little more things, and the fashion got crazy. I don't know. There's just so much going on in the 80s. It's just like a collage of different things in pop culture. I can't even put my finger on it. There'll never be a decade like that.
No, it was definitely the most original and some of the just like the most like changes. You know, when you look at the difference between the 70s and the 80s, I mean, just
it's night and day.
Music and media, and it was it was all because of the breakthrough in technology, right? It was all the breakthrough in technology. It really just accelerated in the 80s, and I don't think we'll ever have a decade like the 80s again.
And the fashion, the hair, everything just went way out there. It's crazy.
Yeah,
the colors, the neon, everything. It was just so flashy.
Yeah, it was like a time of just like, like 70s, there was the hippie, and the 80s was just like it was just fun. It was just all about,
it was just fun, yeah.
Fun, outrageousness and fun. You know what I mean? It was just
Totally. I mean, some of our favorite movies came out then. I mean, some of the best comedies came out then. It was just, there's so much that came out besides comedies, action, whatever, adventure, horror, everything just came. It was just over the top.
And it kickstarted a lot of what everybody enjoys today as far as, movies and TV and music. I mean, and video games. It all started from the 80s.
Do you want to do the same format we did last time? Top five or whatever?
Yeah, let's keep on doing it. That's our signature move.
Signature move,
yeah. 5 apiece.
All right. Well, I'll just let you start it off.
All right.
Uh-oh. We lost the connection.
And as we always say, no particular order.
Okay, yeah. Say that again, man. You went out a minute.
Like we've been saying the past couple of weeks, these are in no particular order. That would be way too hard.
Oh, way too hard
to do.
And didn't you have a hard time with this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to narrow it down to 20 was, I mean, I had to leave some really good shows and shows that I did watch a lot off just to keep the list down to 20. I mean, there were so many good shows.
I almost called you and said, we better do 30. We'll throw some out there at the end that maybe honorable mentions or something, but
yeah.
But go ahead, first 5.
All right, number 1 for me, like I said, it's not number 1 officially, but the A-Team.
Great show.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, who didn't love Mr. T, right?
Yeah.
He was he was like the epitome of pop culture, right? It was like,
fool.
He got his, he got really noticed when he teamed up with Hulk Hogan, of course, and then I don't know if that was before or after the A-Team. I can't really remember, but he was a superstar for a couple years in the 80s. I mean, he had his own cereal. Remember that, Mr. T cereal?
Yeah. Okay. Well, the A-Team started off in 1983. So when did Rocky 3 come out? That's when he was like just blew up, right?
Well,
Rocky
he blew up when he teamed up with Hulk Hogan for the very first WrestleMania.
Oh, yes. You're right.
Rocky 3 came out in 82.
82, okay.
And when did you say the A-Team?
A year later, 83, sometime in 83, so it ran 5 seasons.
Well, actually, in WrestleMania 1 was 85.
Oh.
So actually he was famous before WrestleMania.
So it must have been Rocky then, you think? Rocky 3 probably set him on the map.
Yeah.
He did one movie, and it might be before that.
DC Cab.
DC Cab, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that movie? Yeah,
I do remember. I don't remember too much about it. I remember wanting to see it when I was a kid because I was totally a Mr. T fan.
Yeah. And that might have came out in 80 or 82. I don't know, something like that. I'm drawing a blank on it, but I remember sneaking and watching it on HBO because it was rated R and there's some boobs in there, and
yeah.
And I want to see Mr. T. So, but it's one of those funny 80s type of comedies.
Yeah.
Oh wait, 83 it came out. Wow. So it came out the same time?
Yeah, so probably in between seasons, you know.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, directed by Joel Schumacher. DC Cab. But anyway,
that's the guy that pretty much ruined the original Batman movie series.
Joel Schumacher?
Yeah. I think he was the guy that put the nipples on Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what movie is that?
Was that Batman Forever?
Oh, you know what? Man, I haven't seen that in so long.
The one I think was the one with Clooney and Arnold.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it was like, you know, yeah, it was the one that just like, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the A-Team, it was great. The intro to that is like totally like, dun, dun, dun. Well, you know, the narration part.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, when the guy's talking about, yeah.
In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military.
It was just some random thing. They escaped from a federal penitentiary.
Yeah.
If you need somebody, call the A-Team or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can hire the A-Team.
That show that was created by Stephen Cannell. Man, he was all over TV at that time and through the 90s.
Yeah. He just recently, well, I wouldn't say recently, but he's passed away. But
yeah, he was a legend.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you all the shows, but he had through the 80s probably like 4 or 5 like big hit shows,
big time.
And he had that thing always at the end of the show. It would show him at the typewriter, and he'd throw the paper and when it turned into a C for Cannell. Yeah. Yeah, the A-Team was awesome. Of course, George Papard, he was a famous Hollywood actor, you know, not necessarily known so much for TV. He was in that, and of course, Dirk Benedict was
my favorite.
Was Starbuck from the Battlestar Galactica series.
He was my favorite. He was probably my favorite next to, you know, Mr. T. We were big fans of Battlestar Galactica, and that was like his next big show. Yeah,
it was just a good, fun show. You know, when you're a kid, you really enjoy it. You know, really enjoy it. There's a lot of action and Mr. T, you know, beating up people and, you know, the great soundtrack. But my dad, even back then, he was like, this show, he'd watch every week. He said they shoot 8,000 bullets.
Nobody
ever gets hit.
I know.
He said there's 100 explosions every show, you know, 8,000 bullets shot and nobody gets hurt.
Yep.
But, you know, that was good, clean fun, man, for kids, you know. And, you know, they had toys, lunchboxes. The A-Team was everywhere. You know, the A-Team was everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
I remember I probably one of the last actual toys that I got, you know, because I got to a point where I was beyond the toy stage. And the last thing I got was it came in like in a 4-pack set, and it was the action figures, the 3 3¼ action figures. And my father couldn't believe that I still wanted, you know, toys back in '85. Yeah. But I was like, yeah. He's like, aren't you a little old for that? I was like, well, yeah. He's like, he's like, would you rather have that or go to a baseball game? I said, well, I'd both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was like the last official toy my parents got me was the set of A-Team action figures. I didn't get the van though, unfortunately, and I wish I did because let me tell you, that's going for so much money on eBay, you wouldn't even believe it.
I bet, man. I bet.
So number 2.
Yeah, go ahead.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was like, I really like the Murdoch character too, though. But
yeah,
he's just so out there.
Comedy relief.
Yeah, he was comedy relief for sure.
Well, actually, I mean, everybody was comedy relief on this show.
Yeah, they all had their different little comedic. I mean, it was a funny show. I mean, you watch it now, it's pretty funny and cheesy at the same time. You know?
Yeah, I tried rewatching it a few years back, and unfortunately, I couldn't get excited about it like then. You gotta suspend any kind of reality, watching it. It's just like act like you're watching a B movie or something, or I don't know. But it still brings back good memories. Oh, for sure. I mean, I couldn't wait. For whatever night it was on, I was like, the A-Team's on tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, great show. And number 2 on the list. And it's probably one of my favorite shows of all time. The Greatest American Hero.
Of course. I knew you were going to pick that one.
Another Stephen J. Cannell show, by the way. And, the only...
didn't last too long.
No.
Unfortunately.
It didn't. And I'm not really sure why.
Yeah.
Because it was at one point it was really, really super popular.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But and another thing about that, if you got any Greatest American Hero toys, let me tell you something. You're sitting on a small fortune.
Oh man,
I never had any of them, unfortunately.
I never did either.
But yeah, that went from 81 to 83. William Catt, Robert Culp, Connie Selica. We talked about it last week. Was married to Gil Gerard.
Oh yeah.
William Catt was also in House, which is one of my favorite 80s semi-horror movies.
Love that movie. I told you I met the guy that wrote that movie, right?
Yeah.
Directed. Yeah. Okay.
I purposely went to see House just for the fact that William Catt was in it.
Yeah.
Because and it ended up having what's his name, Norm too from Cheers in it. Remember, he was the neighbor.
Oh, I know. He was awesome. It's a funny movie. I mean, you can watch it. I think it's on Prime or one of them.
It probably is.
I rewatched it like a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago.
I watched it last year.
It holds up, I think.
Yeah. It's like a comedy / horror, more comedy than horror, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's good movie. Greatest American Hero. It was a good show, definitely to check out. Basically a school teacher gets a super suit given to him by aliens, and hijinks ensue. All right, next one. Probably not many people have heard of this show, but it was The Powers of Matthew Starr. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Yeah, it had Louis Gossett Jr. and Peter Barton, which I believe Peter Barton was in the very first or second Friday the 13th movie.
Oh, okay.
He got killed pretty quick, needless to say. But it was a pretty good show. It was about Matthew Starr he was a prince from a foreign, not a foreign country, another planet. There was some kind of overthrow of the government, and the prince and his protector traveled to Earth to escape those people. And to make a long story short, Matthew Starr had telekinetic powers, and he was a high school student. So it was good. It was a good 80s themed show, high school. He was like a teen Tiger Beat guy too, heartthrob, and took place in high school. So
how long did that one go?
2 seasons.
Oh, okay. Was it on a major network or something? Or
NBC.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally missed that one.
It had a good little soundtrack too.
Cool. Cool, man.
Number 4, Superboy. Remember Superboy?
Yeah, I did remember Superboy. I do remember Superboy, but I didn't remember it when I was making my list.
And Superboy was on. It was on Saturday late mornings where I lived.
Yeah. Okay.
And believe it or not, that went 4 seasons. It didn't seem like it was on that long.
Wow.
And 2 different characters played Superboy: Gerard Christopher and John Newton. Some kind of contract squabble, I think it was what it was. But yeah, it was like a half hour show. It was geared obviously towards teenagers, and I think they were going to college, and a lot of Lang, and the whole ball of wax. It was pretty good. It was like they basically rode the popularity of Superman 1 and 2. That was about that time when Superman was a pretty big craze. And of course, it died off 92 when basically the Superman franchise basically took a crap.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Superboy, loved it. You can get it on DVD pretty cheap.
Can you? Wow.
Don't know if it's on Blu-ray or anything right now, but.
Yeah.
And then number 5, Airwolf.
Oh, Airwolf, yeah, that's a good one. I never really watched it, but yeah, I know it was very popular.
Oh, it was. It's another good show with another good like techno soundtrack.
Oh yeah, you're right. I remember that theme right now.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Jan Michael Vincent, he was a big famous Disney star when he was younger. Played Stringfellow Hawk, and he was recruited to fly this super experimental helicopter. And you think about the premises now. How much can you do with a helicopter for more than a season or 2? I don't know, but Ernest Borgnine was his co-pilot. It was a pretty good show. Don't know why it got canceled, but it was right around the time, Jan Michael Vincent he was a pretty bad alcoholic. And I think that was one of the reasons that he ended up leaving, I think, the last season. And one of the Van Patten sons, Tim Van Patten, maybe, took over his spot.
Yeah, because he died, didn't he, in like 2019 or something?
Yeah, he died not too long ago. Yeah, basically, he was such a bad alcoholic that it just destroyed him.
Wow.
It was sad. I think he had to have one of his legs cut off because of his alcoholism.
Jeez.
I don't remember if it was because he got in a car accident or something happened because he was drunk or because of his alcoholism. But yeah, I remember he had to have one of his legs cut off.
Jeez.
He was in bad shape. I remember going to see an interview with him, and they went to see him in this pretty ramshackle house out in the country, and he was sitting on his porch with his leg lopped off, and man, he looked like he was 80 years old. Man, it was sad to see him. Because at one point, he was a heartthrob, back in the in the 70s. I think he was in Endless Summer. I think maybe, but yeah, Airwolf, great show.
I remember that movie.
That's 5.
5. Okay. Even though I take a multivitamin, I also like to take superfoods. And the best superfood I found on the market that tastes just amazing is Brick House Nutrition Field of Greens. Real organic superfood. 1 scoop of Field of Greens gives you the full spectrum of colors with fruits, veggies, herbs, spices, and more. Helps with your overall well-being by aiding in antioxidation, lipid metabolism, and glucose metabolism. Since Field of Greens is made from real foods, it's technically not a supplement. This is just pure whole foods, guys, and you can get a discount right now by using coupon code HEALTHYLIFE. Just plug that coupon HEALTHYLIFE before checkout in the coupon section and get our exclusive discount. You have to try Field of Greens from brickhousenutrition.com. Well, number 1, and I didn't know if I should put it in the 80s or the 90s because it started in 87, but it ran all through the 90s. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 80s because I
Dun, 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 dun.
yeah. You know what it is. Yep, Married with Children. And I loved it when it came out. Actually, I think it's funnier even more today, to be honest with you, because it's so unpolitically correct that I love watching the show right now. I mean, I had to buy the whole DVD set, and I just love the show. I laugh my ass off because there's just so much humor that I didn't get when I was younger. Right now, it's just more adult, you know. And I mean, Married with Children is just a classic. Started in 87, ran 11 seasons. So I didn't know to put it in the 80s or 90s, but yeah. So either way, great show. But since it started 87, I went ahead and did it. So anyway,
I think those were the best years, honestly. The first few years in the 80s with Steve and Marcy.
Oh, I love Steve. This is so funny. But I love that other guy too, though, man, because he was
Emerson.
Emerson. He was another heartthrob. You remember him? He was on all the teen. He was in some movies and different things like that. But
Ted McGinley was his name.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He was on the final couple seasons of Happy Days. Do you remember?
Yeah, and he was a big model.
I think he played one of those sweater-wearing jerks in one of those like an '80s like Porky's type movie too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm trying to remember because I know he's been in a lot of movies.
Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yes, Revenge of the Nerds.
And he was the sweater-wearing asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
But was he in something else too? I'm thinking of like some ski movie, but maybe not. Maybe I'm just like. Oh, he was in Young Doctors in Love. That was another comedy satire about doctors in the hospital and all that. It was one of those kind of Naked Gun type movies.
Yeah.
Really offbeat, and he was in Wayne's World too.
Yeah, like. And he was in Revenge of the Nerds 4, Nerds in Love.
Oh, he was.
Yeah,
which I don't even know if I've seen that one.
I haven't either, but it's pretty crazy. I know we're kind of going off on a tangent a little bit about it, but you know, Ted McGinley. I mean, he did a lot of work in the '80s. He was in Happy Days, 61 episodes. He was in 60 episodes of The Love Boat, 34 episodes of Dynasty, 167 episodes of Married with Children. So he was busy in the '80s, man.
And now he does inspirational, like Christian movies now.
Yeah, he was just in God's Not Dead, one of those movies. I can't remember which one.
Yeah. So yeah, he's The Love Boat. You remember that? He was. Did you say Love Boat?
Yeah.
He was in? Oh, okay. I was just looking. I was like, I remember him on that Love Boat.
He was photographer Ashley Ace Covington.
Yeah.
I don't remember him on there.
He must have been off and on through 83 to 87. Huh. That's crazy. But I remember, I mean, you couldn't miss him. He just looked like a California, you know, the spitting image of a California guy, you know, with the blonde hair and the, you know, perfect chiseled face. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. Married with Children, great show. My second pick, another thing I watched.
We can't stop talking about Married with Children until we discuss
Al Bundy.
Well, you know, just talking about Al Bundy. I mean, but I mean, Al was funny. I mean, he was the highlight of the show, obviously. But you know,
Peggy.
What's her? Peggy. Yeah, Peggy.
Oh my gosh, what an act! I mean, she's been in so many big roles now.
When I was a teen.
Oh, go ahead.
When I was a teenager, I was thinking, why doesn't Al want to tap Peggy? You know, I was like, I didn't get it when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
but I get it now.
You do get it now?
Yeah.
Why?
Just when you get into that, you get older and you get into that grind of work and bills and
I see what you're
saying. Just like
I thought you were talking about her specifically.
No, but I understand. I understand now, but when I was younger, I was like, I thought Peggy was pretty hot
Oh yeah.
in a mom kind of a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I found her much more attractive than Kelly.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't really find Kelly attractive. Yeah.
Oh, I did.
I mean, she was cute. I didn't,
Always-
at the
Always
time,
had
I
the
didn't.
the rock style going on, the slutty clothes, everything. I don't know. That was one of the reasons I watched it. At first, yeah, Katie Seagal. She was in what, Sons of Anarchy, and
She was in a few seasons of Lost periodically, and she's done a lot of stuff. And she's like a very famous singer too. Did you know that?
no, I have no idea.
She's got like albums
no
and stuff
idea.
out. Yeah.
Huh?
She's married to the creator of Sons of Anarchy. She's been married to him for a
really?
long time. Yeah, I can't think of his name now. But yeah, so a lot of talented
She's
people.
good, man. I mean,
She is.
she's really good. I just would not have seen or imagined her in those roles
Right.
later
right.
on. Serious
for-
roles.
And the only person that really didn't amount to much was was Bud.
Whatever happened to him?
Yeah, he was pretty much washed up after that show. But you know what? Did he need to work anymore? Probably not.
Yeah, I wonder what he does now.
I think he does like small acting stuff, maybe
Really?
independent movie or something. He had something on YouTube I watched one time. It was funny, but I don't remember what it was about. But yeah, I don't think he does much. But I don't think that show was so successful, unless they just blew their money. I don't see any of them really needing to work. Do you think that Ed O'Neill has to work anymore?
Well, no, and then he was in that other show for how long?
Modern Family. Yeah,
Which I never watched, but
I didn't either. I seen a few episodes. I couldn't really get into it.
I couldn't either. I thought it was terrible.
I think what it,
I don't know why, but
I think what it is that it's hard to top Al Bundy.
yeah. Plus, the humor is totally different.
Yeah,
It's not like controversial, and you really got to watch humor now, and that's what makes shows suck these days. It's just terrible. They're
Yeah.
all walking on a fine line, and the humor is just so retarded in a way, that I just can't get into it. And they kind of filmed it like that, like The Office, so all those
Yeah.
sitcoms were copying each other, the narration and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm over that, man. It was one
Yeah.
thing with The Office, but don't have a bunch of copycat shows doing the same thing. I can't stand that.
yeah. Didn't Parks and Recreation do the same thing?
Yeah, I just can't stand that. I don't know who's making these shows these days, but they suck. My next show, I'm only on number 2? Gosh, that was long-winded. Roseanne. Started in 88. I know, man, you probably got it somewhere, maybe in the 90s or something. Some of these
Yeah.
shows we'll just tell you. When we do the 90s after this, some of these shows will probably be repeated on the podcast. We won't go in detail, but we'll mention them. But I know that I went back and forth with Roseanne because it started in 88, but I remember when it debuted, it was such a big hit. My mom watched it and everything, and I got sucked in. So 3 years of watching it consistently.
Yeah.
And it ran 10 seasons. So it started in 88 and ran through the 90s, but I
never watched it in the original run. I've watched it since it's been off the air and stuff, but
yeah, I remember all the not controversy, but all the it was the biggest deal on television because it was a normal, like, middle class, like, I don't even know, middle class. Yeah,
white trash family.
Yeah, it was like something that wasn't on TV before.
Yeah.
It was, an overweight couple on TV. It didn't look all Hollywood, and they just looked like normal people, and it was great. It was great to see. I would like to see like a show like The Bachelor or Bachelorette, one of those reality shows, just, get somebody that didn't look like they were a runway model, just somebody dirty off the street, play it. Play that.
Well, it doesn't have to be that.
I mean, just somebody, not all. It doesn't have money. It's just on the poorer side, and do a show off that. I mean, just a normal freaking person, and that's what I think Roseanne kind of appealed to people. It wasn't all glitz and glamour. It was just this, run of the mill family that. And nobody could believe. It's like, oh, we can't believe there's, people like this on television. Yeah, I really loved it, man. The jokes, everything was funny. I looked forward to it. She was big into Halloween episodes, and I loved the Roseanne Halloween episodes. I look forward to them every year. And what are you doing? Playing with a pen?
Yeah,
I'm just here as a clink, clink, clink. I'm like trying to think, man. It's like, you got a nervous twitch.
I do have plenty of nervous twitches.
I do too sometimes. I do all the time actually. But yeah, Roseanne, great show. The Connors came on. I watched it till Roseanne got booted. And then I quit watching the Connors because I don't believe in this bullshit of cancellation and canceling somebody. And I will refuse to watch a show if they get canceled like that.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, they booted her, and I said, screw it. I ain't watching the Connors. I thought it would have been canceled after the first season after doing that, but somehow they survived. But well.
I think they made a point of allowing it to survive, because if it would have got canceled, it would have been like a big black mark on their face. You had a successful show, and then you basically you went ahead and canceled somebody because of the woke mob, and the show fizzled. So I think they allowed it to survive, but honestly, I just read yesterday. The Roseanne has got a new show in the works.
Whoa.
That's gonna be on like this year sometime.
Really?
So yeah. So that awesome. blew up in their face big time.
Wow. Well, good. I can't wait. I'll watch it. So the next one's the A-Team, which we already covered. So the next one, number 4, is Newhart. Did you ever watch Newhart?
Oh, yeah. I'm Daryl. This is my other brother, Daryl.
Yeah. I'm all the brother, Daryl. Yeah. 1982.
I'm Larry. This is my brother, Daryl. My other brother, Daryl.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's it. I couldn't remember. I thought there was 3 Daryls for some reason.
I'm Larry. This is my brother, Daryl. That's my other brother, Daryl.
Yeah, it ran from 82, 8 seasons, 82 to 90. So pretty much the whole 80s.
Yeah, my parents watched it. I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't really get into it too much. We watched it every week, but I wasn't really a big super fan of it. I enjoyed it, I guess. But
he's got a weird sense of humor. It's like
he's got
real dry.
Yeah. That's his shtick for sure. I think he's still alive, isn't he?
I think I haven't heard nothing about him passing, but
I think the last thing I remember him doing was Elf.
I mean, he had a show in the 70s too.
Yeah, the Bob Newhart
show. Yeah, and my mom, she was telling me that there's he was born in Oak Park, Illinois. Did you know that? I didn't. No. I just looked it up. But there's a part in there. There's an episode in the 70s show. I gotta look it up. I think she said she's watching on Prime or one of them. I don't know. And there's a part where they drive down to Peoria, and they're talking about Peoria and all this stuff. And I mean, it sounds funny. I don't know if they were like going to see see a game or something. I don't know. She was trying to tell me, but I don't know. I had no idea. But I didn't know he was born in Illinois, so he's probably familiar with this area.
Oh, I'm sure.
Sort of. That's funny. But yeah, Newhart, great show. Haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know how it holds up, but I'm sure it holds up.
Oh, it is. It holds up because every year around Christmas time, I go back and I watch all of the old 70s and 80s shows to watch their Christmas episodes.
Yeah,
because the shows used to do that.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And I watched a few Newhart ones, and then of course just watched some regular ones. Yeah, it still holds up. It's a good show. I love it.
All right, great. Okay, number 5, The Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone, not the original. I love the original, but The Twilight Zone had a resurgence in the 80s, and it ran from 85 to 89. And I love the anthology type shows. Just love them. And I've always loved The Twilight Zone. That and when it came out in the 80s, it had some really good stories. So that was that. In fact, I bought them on DVD. I had to because I have the original, and then I have that one. I loved it. I know they tried to reboot it lately, last couple years or so.
Yeah, I've watched a few of those, and what it is for me, and I think they got it. Is that some of the attraction to Twilight Zone obviously was the stories, obviously, and of course it was Rod Serling, but when you think of the Twilight Zone, you think of those old black and white episodes, right?
Yeah,
and the black and white kind of even made it
creepy.
Yeah, something about the black and white made it more appealing.
It did.
So when this series that just came out here recently, you if you get CBS Paramount Plus or whatever, you can watch it in the choice of color or black and white.
Oh, really? Huh.
And it's so much more enjoyable to watch it in black and white. I don't know why. It's crazy.
So is it good? Did they do a good job?
It's not bad. There's it's a mixed bag anything else. Maybe the season. I don't know how many episodes there were a season. Not a whole lot, like 10 or something. So it's like 50-50, like some really good stories and some other whatever. So, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay,
I enjoyed it.
All right, cool. It's good to hear. All right, so that's my 5.
Okay. So the next one on my list is Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, okay, that was a big hit. I never watched it, but
it was a big hit. It was a big hit, and it was a big change for a Trekkie like myself. Because I grew up watching William Shatner every
show
every weekend with my father. On some syndicated channel here in Cleveland. It was WUAB, channel 43, but it would be on Sunday afternoons. It would be like a trifecta. It would be Star Trek, In Search of, and Space 1999.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, I would, so it's, I think Star Trek was out, the original one was in 1967. It went for like 3 seasons. So,
which is amazing. I thought it went way longer, but I bought the set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 3 seasons? That's it? I thought it was on. The seasons were longer back then.
Right.
But isn't that weird? I thought at least went like 5 or more.
No, and it struggled to get 3 because it got canceled, and they had a letter writing campaign, and they resurrected it for to bring it back. It had it was one of those shows that was plagued, that was doomed by the Nielsen rating system. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the Nielsen.
Because there were so many people that watched it, but the right Nielsen people, that had the boxes or whatever, however they did it, they weren't watching it. But obviously, it's 2023 right now, and Star Trek is just as huge, if not huger, than it was back then. It's like they were, Nielsen had it wrong. all the critics had it wrong, But yeah, but it was tough because growing up, and like I said, in the 70s, all I knew was Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, and that old original series, and to see a new series with this like bald British guy as the captain, and I was like, this goofy looking Klingon, and I was like, it took like a season or more for me to like, accept it and then appreciate it. You know what I mean? It was hard, but once you go back and and rewatch it, it went 7 seasons, and it spawned a bunch of movies, and it ended up being, honestly, in some ways better.
I never gave it a chance, but I know it was huge.
Yeah, no, it ended up surprising a lot of people, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, do you want the ultimate iodine supplement? How about liquid B12? How about liquid turmeric in a herbal cold pressed tincture, never heated? The ultimate in detoxification. Pure, powerful, and potent liquid formulas in a raw herbal extract. Totally organic. Use our special coupon code HEALTHYLIFE at checkout at globalhealingorganics.com. Use coupon code HEALTHYLIFE.
Next show, Voyagers.
Oh, man, I forgot about that one.
It's a great show. It only went 1 season, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And it was on NBC. It was affiliated with the Scholastic Book Club, if you remember that. Mm-hmm. Remember, after every episode, if you enjoyed listening to tales about Marie Antoinette and Thomas Edison, go to your local library because it's all in books. And it was like the Scholastic Books. They funded the show, but it's about a kid that some time traveler smashes in through his window, and they travel through time, setting history right. I loved it. I loved it.
Cool.
You never watched it?
No. I don't know. I remember the name, but I'm trying to picture the show. So
little kid was Mino Pelusi. He had like this black curly hair, and the other guy, John Eric Hexum, he always dressed like in like the sailor's type outfit, and it was a really good show. And he was getting to be a big star, John Eric Hexum, and then he ended up he got killed on a TV set, filming his next series, Cover Up.
Oh,
an accidental firearm discharge.
Oh wow!
And it was a stupid mistake on his part, and it was sad because he was only 26, and he was going to be a huge star.
That was that's the main guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now. It looks familiar. Man, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. Good show. Very good show. It was only, one season.
Yeah.
Sunday nights. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Wow.
The next show, The Fall Guy, with my man, Lee Majors.
Great show.
I've never spent much time in school.
And, it was one of those things where, I had to watch it because, in my mind, it was the $6 Million Man. It was his new show. And of course, it was nothing like the $6 Million Man, and I grew to love the show. And of course, it was about him being a stunt man. And in the part-time, he was a bail bondsman. That's how he made ends meet. And there was a pinup girl from the 80s in that show, and that was Heather Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Which I preferred way more than Heather Locklear, by the way. The Battle of the Heathers, Heather Thomas wins hands down.
Yeah, I sent away for her autograph.
Who, Thomas or Locklear?
I used to do that, sent away for celebrities' autographs, and they'd send back a picture and an autograph. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think it was, oh, man. It might have been Locklear. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. I still have them all because I have Jamie Lee Curtis. I've got Drew Barrymore. I think they really signed it back then. I don't know for sure, but it looks like or somebody's real. I mean, it's a real signature. It's not.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh, she was in Zapped, Heather Thomas.
Yes, that's where I was like, wah, 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 wah. But
Yeah.
But that was all body double work in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They did a lot of that.
Yeah. Because, I remember watching that. I got up super early in the morning, like on a Saturday morning, like super early, like 4 or 5 a.m. Not for any reason. I just got up early and I wanted to eat some cereal or something. And my parents were sleeping and I turned on like Cinemax. And I saw this movie with Scott Baio and Willie Ames in it. You know, it was like a teenage like comedy. So I was watching it, and next thing you know, he's got these psychic powers, and he kept on making Heather Thomas's shirt bust open with her cans. And I loved that movie when I was younger. I loved it.
I know. It still holds up though.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. That's a great movie. Great movie. And then let me see here. So we got 1, 2, 3. T.J. Hooker.
Oh, T.J. Hooker. I knew you were gonna pick that one.
The Shat Man.
Had that nice curly hair going.
I think it was Plugs.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh.
I think he got Plugs because all earlier in his career he had perfectly normal straight hair, and then the next thing T.J. Hooker comes out and he's got like this, whatever he's got going on, like this Tom Jones hairdo.
I thought I thought he was going for the perm look. That was big in the 80s.
Yeah, I think he got Plugs. I could be mistaken, but yeah, definitely didn't have the Captain Kirk hairdo anymore.
No.
But that went from 82 to 86. William Shatner, Heather Locklear, like we said, she was another pinup, married to Tommy Lee for one point, Richie Sambora. And
she liked the rockers.
Yeah, she did. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's doing now because I don't think she's not. I don't think she's married to Sambora anymore, right?
Probably not.
Yeah,
did they ever last?
Yeah, because he turned into like a massive alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then my next one on my list, and this went for a very short time. I think it only went like 12 episodes, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Police Squad.
Oh, I was gonna put that on. I love that show.
It was basically the origin of the Naked Gun movies. Is basically what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Frank Drebin,
Leslie Nielsen,
and 30-hour slapstick comedy show. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I have it on DVD.
Me too. Remember Prom Night? He plays the main detective, and he's a serious role. And I'm like, gosh, it's like I mean, that's a good movie, good 80s slasher, but he played a serious role, and I just kept seeing, Frank Drebin,
yeah,
Drebin or whatever in his face, and
right.
It just, I don't know, something about Leslie Nielsen. He just was a comedic actor.
Yeah, I think he took that, prior to, I think, was it Airplane maybe?
Yeah, Airplane.
Prior to that, he had normally was only like a serious actor.
That's so weird.
And then he transitioned, and then that was the rest of his career. He was just, he was the Naked Gun guy. He was that slapstick comedy guy.
Yeah, I mean,
which
he
was hilarious.
And he was in so many different roles.
Right.
Like that role, what was that Dracula one that he was in? I don't know. He was in a bunch of weird ones.
I mean, he wasn't stupid. I mean, he got into a gig and that worked, and people wanted to see. And hey, you know what? He rode that out the rest of his career.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I guess he was in more than 100 films. It says, and 150 TV programs.
Yeah, because he was, he was like, he was in Forbidden Planet. That was like his big movie.
Oh yeah,
like back in the old days. Was that in the late 50s?
Yeah,
maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, he acted a long time. So yeah, that's the last one for me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go with the next 5 here. Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world.
Did you ever watch Knight Rider?
I did. I watched it every week. I don't know why, but I did.
Yeah, I just, I watched it.
It was the thing to watch when you were a kid,
right?
Back in the 80s.
And another big creator, I think, why I watched it was Glenn A. Larson. He did Battlestar Galactica, created this show, and David Hasselhoff. I don't know, something about him. He cracks me up. I don't know, something about him, but he was a cool character in that. And you wanted to see what, I don't know, the car, Kit could do. And I don't know, it was I don't know how it holds up today. I haven't watched it so long. Okay.
It doesn't. I went back and watched like the pilot and like maybe like an episode after that. And I'm like, why did I like this show when I was a kid? All it was the Incredible Hulk with a car, right? He went from town to town solving the problems, and he would have his skin tight jeans on, his leather jacket, and he would do like a spinning kick every episode. And
oh yeah, I mean David Hasselhoff, he's a cheesy actor, but he's a funny actor. I like him more in the comedy roles because I think he just does so well. He's just not a serious actor, but and what the thing about it, Hasselhoff is that really his bread and butter and what's really made him famous is that like overseas he's like a musical legend. I know. He's like Liberace or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he's like a Wayne Newton Sinatra type of a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes over to Europe and stuff and packs out huge freaking arenas.
Yeah. It's crazy. But I love watching movies with David Hasselhoff coming in there because he kind of makes fun of himself a lot of times, That's what's so funny about it.
Well, yeah, because now in this point in life, he has been made into like a kind of like a joke, right? So he rolls with it now.
Yeah, he rolls with it. And that's what makes him so appealing.
Was it you that sent me that video of him singing for that like techno metal band?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that song is awesome.
I know. I couldn't believe it. It was hilarious.
I let my wife hear it, and she goes, "Oh my god, this is awesome!"
Yeah.
She's like, "If I knew he's that good, I would have, I wouldn't have thought he was like a nerd all these years."
Yeah. That was surprising. So, and if you ever get a chance, I don't know if you watched. I think it was Piranha 3D or 3 Double D. Maybe it's 3 Double D. Did you ever see that one?
No.
If you ever get a chance, 3 Double D. I think that's the one. Yeah. David Hasselhoff plays himself basically in there as a lifeguard, and he's afraid. Oh man, it's great, man. He plays a kind of like he plays himself as the Baywatch guy, So
right.
You gotta watch it. It's so funny. It's great. You can find it. It was on one of those streaming channels. You can find it somewhere.
Yeah.
3 Double D. This was one of my all-time favorite shows. I watched it every week, and it was a horror anthology.
I know what it is.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Yes.
You watched it?
Yes. That intro.
Awesome. Yes.
That intro used to creep me out so bad when I was a kid.
Yeah, I did. I love that show. They had some really, really good stories in that. Really.
Yeah. I loved that. I love that. That was better than Twilight Zone and from the 80s.
Yeah, it was way darker. I mean, there was some episodes that it was super good. Ran from 83 to 88, so I had a pretty good run for a show like that.
Yes.
So that was 1, 2. Okay. Next one was Cheers, 82 to 93. Great show. You know, I haven't watched it in a long. Well, no, wait. I did try to watch it maybe a year ago, a couple episodes. I think it held up. Yeah, I think it held up real good. So I don't know. I didn't watch many episodes, but you know, it was a good. It had a good run. That's for sure. Went 82 to 90. What, 11 seasons? I guess. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it was on a long time.
Yeah. So
it's a great show to play a drinking game with.
Yeah, you could do that for sure.
I remember when the finale came out. I think the finale was an hour long, and the cheers drinking game is you get like a 6-pack or a 12-pack, and you sit there with a group of friends. And anytime they show a shot of Norm drinking a beer, you go, Norm with a beer. Then you've got to chug a beer.
Yeah, that was a staple of the show.
For the for the finale, I got a 12-pack of Zima.
No way.
About 20 minutes into the show, I drank all 12 of them already. I was so buzzed.
That's hilarious.
And hungover from that malt liquor.
Wow. So you liked the show then?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Cool. Did you ever watch it lately? Did you?
Yeah, I've watched it within the past year or two.
Yeah. Did they have any Christmas episodes? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, okay. Like one or two.
Okay. All right. The next one, I don't know if I watched the whole season, but I watched it here and there. I mean, a lot, but not real consistently. But it was Alf. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Yeah. I watched it when it came out. It was what did it go, like 2 seasons?
No, it went from 86 to 90. But I don't remember watching it for that long. I don't remember sticking with it. But
do you know what Alf's real name was?
No.
Tungus Grump.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Some good trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There were some funny parts in that show. It was the first show that I don't know, like I think it was a first show where there was actual, puppetry mixed with real people that was on, a regular sitcom. I don't know if there was any other show like it.
It probably was. I mean, Alf was a big pop culture icon from the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. There was, it was Alf cereal. Alf toys. There was Alf. Alf was a big thing. Probably the first 2 years, man. It was a pretty big phenomenon.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and there was a lot of funny one-liners and different things in there with that show. But anyway, the next show that I watched a lot of was Night Court. Did you ever watch Night Court?
My parents watched it. I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I don't know how it holds up today because I have not watched that in
they've
decades.
rebooted it, right?
No, I had no idea.
It just started this year. Yeah. So
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But anyway, when it was out, I did watch it and I thought it was funny. So I guess that's it for my 5.
All right.
Not too much to say about it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, the show takes place, I think, doesn't it take place essentially almost 100% inside the courtroom?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not a fan of court shows. That's the funny thing. I hate court shows, but
yeah.
But yeah, this was just a funny show, I guess. But I hate hospital shows too, and if they made a funny hospital show, I probably would not watch that one. I just hate hospitals in general.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I watched Night Court, but anyway.
Well, I think a lot of these shows from the 80s, a lot of the shows, not all of them, but a good portion of them, you were kind of influenced by your parents because, you watched a lot of TV together.
Yeah, sure.
So sometimes, usually the parents ruled the TV. So
Yeah.
For the most time, you were watching what they watched or go to your room.
Yeah, true.
Type of a thing.
Yeah.
And I could go to my room because I had a TV in my room, but I didn't have cable in my room.
No.
So
3 channels.
Yeah. So sometimes those channels wouldn't come in or whatever.
Yeah,
so
2 channels.
you know,
Maybe 1 channel. I don't know. It depends. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I had like, tried to make the biggest antenna I could find wrapped around the room, trying to. But one thing about the analog signal is at least you could get it semi in.
Right.
Even if it was all snow and whatever, you could still get something in. Now you can't get nothing in. It's either you got it or you don't.
Yeah, that's what sucks.
It sucks.
Because, one of the joys, I think we talked about it, was when I got my first TV, and it was like it wasn't even a 12-inch. It might have been like an 8-inch TV. It was pretty small, black and white. But the joy was, staying up late at night because that's when the atmosphere would change and more channels would come in to tune in all these faraway stations, and you would catch something you wanted to watch, and it'd be a little bit snowy, but it was still watchable. Yeah. I watched hours of snow television.
I know. And now when I mess with my antenna to get the local channels, I'm fighting all the time with some of these channels that I can't get in.
They start breaking down, pixelized,
pixelized, and they just off. And it's like, damn it. So something good about there was something cool about the analog type of signal.
Yeah, for sure. They ruined it, for sure.
Yeah. What's up, America? Are you tired of your hard-earned money going to woke agendas from woke corporations? If you want to give your money to patriotic companies that love America, well, I have a website for you, MammothNation.com. MammothNation.com. And if you use our special coupon code, Retro Media, you will get 30% off your subscription. These are American-made businesses that won't give your money to hidden agendas. It's time to take back America and put your money where it counts. Go to MammothNation.com and use our special coupon code Retro Media at checkout to get 30% off. Go to MammothNation.com.
Highway to Heaven. It's my next show.
Oh, yeah. I think my grandma, somebody used to watch that show. Really emotional. I never stuck with it because I know it had some tear-jerking episodes.
But, yeah. I mean, I love the show still to this day, and usually in the wintertime, like when there's nothing going on and you can't go out and do stuff, and you're kind of trapped in the house, and me and my wife will sit down there and we would watch Highway to Heaven, a couple episodes every night. It's just a good show, man. It's just a good wholesome show. I mean, they don't make shows like Highway to Heaven anymore.
Do they have that out on DVD now? Do they? I'm sure
it's on DVD. I don't know if it's on Blu-ray or anything. Yeah. I mean, it's.
I want to watch that show now because I didn't get into it when I was younger, just because I didn't want to feel all goosey, But nowadays, I really love that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's because of age or I don't know. But I would love to watch that show now. I think I really appreciate it.
Oh, you would. I love it. I love it. I mean, I can, there's nothing on TV, and I say, I'm going to watch some Highway to Heaven. And even though I've seen them time and time again, it's really good. Yeah, and like I said, Michael Landon, just his acting, and I mean, when he gets emotional on screen, you're getting emotional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just good stories. I mean, people don't know what it's about. Michael Landon plays an angel, and he comes down and meets Victor French, and basically they travel around the country and they help people. It's just that was a formula back in the 80s.
Yeah,
like people traveling from town to town to do this or that, whatever. Mm-hmm. But this was an angel, and they went and helped people that were sick or
was
whatever.
it the same? Was it kind of the same premise as that other angel? TV show?
Well, I never. What, that Touched by an Angel?
Yeah.
I never watched that because
I never did either. But
because whenever I would hear that title, Touched by an Angel, all I could think about was Catholic priests touching children. So I just never could get into the show. I was like, I don't want to watch it.
Oh, okay.
I'd be like, touched by my father, Father Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I've never watched that show.
Yeah.
Never had an interest.
Yeah,
but,
I never did either.
Yeah, Highway to Heaven. I think it was 5 seasons. Great show. Good,
awesome.
Wholesome family show. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Okay.
Next show on the list, V. Remember V?
Oh, V, yes. Yeah. But I thought about putting that on there, but since it was a mini series, I was like, I'll.
Well, it was a mini series, right? Which was like, I think, 2-parters. It was a 2-parter. Then they came out the next year with V, The Final Battle, right? Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was V, the series, and it went for 1 season.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Why did it end? You're still clicking your pen.
I am.
Some good ambient noise, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Got tempo going.
I recently watched the original miniseries and The Final Battle. I watched like the first couple episodes of the series, and I hadn't got around. Not that it stunk or anything. I just hadn't got around to finishing it. So I don't know if they finished it or it just got canceled and just never resolved. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to know, because I don't know. I don't remember finishing it when it came out, or that season. I watched the miniseries when it came out. But
which was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Then. It was a big event too. It was huge. I think didn't it air like Sunday night or something?
Yeah, Sunday night, and it was like I don't know if it went 2 days in a row or it was 2 Sundays, but it was a 2-day event, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it maybe more, wasn't it? I don't know. Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it was 2 days. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but it was pretty dark and like apocalyptic. It was, if at that time there had never been a show like that. Mm. I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it must have been 2 days. Yeah, because it was 3 hours and 17 minutes. So that must have been only 2 days.
Kind of like one of those Sunday night movie type. How they would do that.
Yeah.
So probably 2 Sundays or Sunday Monday. I don't know how I don't remember how they played it out, but yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was totally awesome. That was Kenneth Johnson, which creator of the Bionic Woman and Incredible Hulk, all that good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Good one. The epitome of an '80s TV show for sure. The next one is Amazing Stories.
Oh, I got that on my list. I love that show. I didn't know you watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Great show.
I mean, back then, first of all, they hyped it, created by Steven Spielberg, produced by Steven Spielberg.
Presents.
Yeah. I mean, just that alone, you were like, oh, this is going to be awesome,
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I went back and rewatched it, actually, like a year or two ago. And some of the stories still hold up, are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the opening night one, the very initial episode, was the one where the kid rides to the Alamo. Do you remember that one?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't remember.
It was kind of like a milder version of the Twilight Zone in a way.
Yeah,
in a way. Was. Yeah,
it came on like early. I remember.
Yeah, early. It was Sunday nights,
like 6 o'clock or something.
Yeah, maybe. It'd be about because your time, so mine was like 7 o'clock here. Yeah, so it was early Sunday evenings. It was good.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3. Next one on my list: Family Ties.
Great show. That was on my list. My next round. That was my first one coming up. Great show.
Yeah, I mean that was that was Michael J. Fox. I mean he was Same thing. He was like an icon of the 80s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he got fame obviously from Family Ties, and then of course he got cast in the role of Marty McFly for the Back to the Future, and then that was the end of it right there. I mean, he became a superstar, and it was good. It was like a family sitcom. I mean, who hasn't seen it? But he was like the snobby, smart stock trading high school student at the beginning, and I can't remember what the girl's name was, Mallory, but she was like kind of a big star. Her brother was a big star, right?
Mm-hmm. It had Michael Gross and Meredith Baxter. Justine Bateman. Bateman, the sister of Jason Bateman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of her, what the hell's she been up to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Justin Bateman's always he's in all kinds of stuff. I haven't heard nothing from her, unless I missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she's one of those people that just got away from Hollywood or something.
Yeah. Wow, forgot all about her.
But yeah, that was a good show. It was. I liked Nick. Remember Nick?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great show. It was a good family show.
It was. It was fun. It was a fun show. And Skippy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always trying to date Mallory, but that never happened. But yeah, I loved it. Like I said, that's the epitomes of an '80s sitcom for me. I mean, it was huge hit.
Yeah.
Next on the list, Who's the Boss?
Oh yeah, Who's the Boss? I think I had. Did I have that on? I had it on my boss list.
Back when Alyssa Milano was bearable. Now she's
a nut.
A screaming demon.
Yeah. I liked her as little Alyssa.
Yeah, good show.
But I like Tony Danza. He was always cool. I mean, I liked him in Taxi. I liked him on the Hollywood Nights, which we did.
Right.
Great guy.
Yeah, I actually started rewatching Who's the Boss on one of those streaming channels, but it was weird. Like they only had like seasons 1, 2, and like 5 or something, And so I got pissed off and just stopped watching it because I'm like, well, I'm missing all this middle section here or whatever. But you watch that show always hoping that Tony and his boss were going to hook up.
Yeah,
right. That was the
the big thing. Yeah,
the whole show. Yeah, she was mildly attractive. I don't know what it was about her, but back then she was attractive. Judith Light, I think what her name was.
Yeah, and then they had that the mom that was in. She was in Soap.
Yes,
she was a funny lady. Can't remember her name right now.
Well, her name of the show was Mona.
Oh yeah, Mona, but Catherine Hellman, I guess.
Yeah, the first time I saw her, going back to the $6 Man, she played a role in the White Lightning War, which was the first time I saw her. I was just watching that on the DVD the other day, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that's Mona."
Yeah, that's great.
So the next show on my list here is, let me see here. That might be it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 5. You're next.
Okay. Well, this is easy. Family Ties. I'll scratch that off. And now we'll go to Growing Pains. Did you ever watch Growing Pains?
I did. It almost made the list.
Okay.
It almost made the list.
Yeah, I really liked Growing Pains back in the day because I liked Kirk Cameron. And
do you have his poster on your wall?
No. I just thought he was a cool guy, and he's really cool today.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I mean, I have a lot of respect for, him today because he totally disavowed Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because he did not believe the crap that they were putting out and pushing on people. And
yeah.
And he walked away, and I commend him for that.
Yeah, he puts out a lot of inspirational stuff. I like Kirk Cameron. I think he's really, really great. And of course, it had Alan Thicke as the dad, and Alan Thicke had that night show, that TV show that I used to watch at night called Thick of the Night.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a great show. And but yeah, it was a great family show. Growing Pains, a lot of good stuff in there. Not much more to say about it. Just a good show. And then the next one, the Ray Bradbury Theater. Did you ever watch that one?
I did. It was always on a weird channel at a weird time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it was like a Saturday Sunday show here, like on some local channel. You know what I mean? It was,
yeah.
I don't know what they. What did you watch it on?
What I watch it on? I don't even remember when it aired. I just remembered watching it.
Yeah.
And I again, any time there was a anthology type show, I just love those shows. And Ray Bradbury was a great science fiction writer, whatever.
Big time.
And they had some good stories. I don't know how they hold up today. I really don't.
They're all on Prime. I know that.
Oh, they are? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. Okay. So I watched that a lot back then, and I'm gonna revisit that and see how it holds up. But it ran from 85 to 92. So it was good show that I remember. Anyway.
Right.
Maybe it was on HBO. Crap. I was just looking. Was it on HBO? I was just it just popped up. I don't know. For some reason I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what I watched it on. Hey, it had William Shatner in there.
I believe it.
So you might have to check it out.
For the one episode that I'll have a hard time finding him in.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know where it aired. There was another show I watched and I can't remember, but it was called Monsters. And there was an Alfred Hitchcock. And I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't put him on my list, so I was just kind of vaguely.
Well, I love Hitchcock, but that was like a 60s.
Yeah, but then I guess it was revived in the 80s, and I forgot about it.
Huh. I don't
From
remember
85 to 89. I was like, wait, I do remember that, but I didn't put it on my list because I'm real foggy about it. I used to watch the original all the time. So anyway, the next one, this was one of my favorite shows. And when we had HBO, I had to sneak and watch it. And then when I couldn't watch it at my house, I would sneak and watch it at somebody else's house, like Cooch, who had HBO. But it was The Hitchhiker. Did you ever see The Hitchhiker?
I've never watched it. I've seen. I never knew what it was about or anything.
Oh my gosh, it was a great show. It was like an adult Twilight Zone. And it ran like I think it was a half hour each episode.
Yeah.
They would have some adult content in there, but it was a very, dark show, Twilight Zone-ish, and I loved it. Great stories. Ran from 83 to 91. So, yeah, you should check that out. It had a cool little theme in the beginning of it. The Hitchhiker. So, okay. So, was that it? I think that was it. I think that was my 5.
Sure? Are you positive? All right.
Yeah, because I brushed over Family Ties, Growing Pain. Yeah, that was it.
Okay. So, the last normal show on my list is Unsolved Mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
With Robert Stack.
Of course, that show used to frustrate the hell out of me, but go ahead.
I mean, I still go back and watch all the old ones because my wife loves all that, unsolved mystery stuff, especially people that, got murdered or whatever. They had numerous hosts after Robert Stack, but the Robert Stack ones from the 80s, just, the music and, him walking out of the mist at the beginning and, his voice, talking about, it was awesome. It's just,
but it was unsolved. That's what was frustrating.
Yeah.
I always loved the updates when they solved one, though.
Yeah. It was cool. It was cool.
It was a cool show.
I mean, really, there wasn't a show like that prior to that.
No.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it was kind of
give you the number to call for tips.
Yeah. I mean, it was a cool show, man.
That's cool.
It's definitely cool to go back and rewatch it. I still enjoy it.
They should do a new. They should do something to where they show how many episodes of those actually got solved, like now.
Yeah.
Do like a summary of this episode, like give a number so you can watch it and then watch or maybe a website where you get closure on it. Or
maybe
something.
We could do that.
Yeah, really. That would be cool. It would be real cool. Hey, episode 224. We've got the answer.
Yeah.
We describe the unsolved mystery and then we say, here's what happened. This is how they were caught or whatever.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be.
So like I said, that was the last of my normal shows. But,
okay.
What you don't have on your list is, some of the shows that I watched in the 80s that were on Saturday mornings.
Oh, yeah.
And or after school. Mm-hmm. There was a whole slew of shows that I rushed home off the bus to watch right after school. And that one would be G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Did you ever watch G.I. Joe?
No, I never did. Never did.
Loved it. I mean, it was basically that show was a 30-minute commercial for the toy line. Really, that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, that's why they created the show because they had this concept of these toys, and that was it. They were the show was the commercial for the toys. That's how it started out. But it was a cool show, man. I loved it. I loved it, and I would rush home every day off the school bus to watch G.I. Joe, which would then be followed by the next show on the list, Thundercats.
Oh, yeah.
Which I totally loved. And, typical, I mean, if the epitome of an 80s cartoon is like these hip, weird-looking, cat people that fighting a mummy. It was a fun cartoon show. I loved it. Cool. Then to a Saturday morning show for me, the next one is The Super Friends.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I mean, I could not wait for Saturday mornings to watch Super Friends. It does not hold up, by the way.
No, it doesn't.
But back then, I loved it. There was usually, meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just usually there'd be like 2 stories per half-hour segment, but it had all your favorite DC characters in it. It was a fun show. I don't know how many years it went. It was on for quite a while.
Yeah.
And the last show on my list, another Saturday morning show, was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
They won a few seasons. It was Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar. And, of course, it was your typical comic book show, but that's what I was into, and it was pretty big in the 80s. So that's it. It finalizes my list.
That's
a little bit of everything. Yep.
Got any honorable mentions?
I do have a couple honorable mentions. One that I mentioned last week that went on into the 80s that I watched all the way to the end was MASH, Like I said,
yeah.
probably the greatest show of all time. I watched that all through the 80s.
Okay.
Of course, the finale, like we said, was the most watched show in television history. Another show I loved, it only went one season that I didn't put on the list, but it was Three's a Crowd, which was the sequel to Three's Company, if you remember that.
That was a good show. Really good. I can't believe it only lasted one season. It got canceled, but
Well, it didn't have that. I guess it didn't have the chemistry, that people were used to.
yeah, true.
And two more honorable mentions were Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder.
Yep. That was one of my honorable mentions.
And The Facts of Life.
Yep. I didn't put. I forgot about that one. That's a good one.
I love that. Mrs. Garrett and Joe and what's her name? I can't even remember her name.
I can't remember.
Tootie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And one last one, which I love, Saturday morning show, Thundar the Barbarian. That's my honorable mentions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, and Inspector Gadget. Thank you.
Okay. Hi guys, this is Steve. Do you know your body needs 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and a powerful blend of essential fatty acids? 90 essential nutrients your body needs to stay healthy. In today's world, depleted soil, crop changes, and seasonal inconsistencies are yielding less nutrient-dense food. This is why the Healthy Body Start Pack was created. Longevity's products have been around for decades. If you want to check out the Healthy Body Start Pack, guys, go to naturalhealthagenda.com. naturalhealthagenda.com. Well, my next one, I don't know if you ever watched this one. I mean, it was a little disappointing when a certain killer wasn't in it, but for some reason I watched it, and it was Friday the 13th, the TV series.
Yeah, I never watched it.
It did not have Jason in it, and it was a little confusing with people. It was like, wait, there's no Jason? But it was kind of interesting. It was about like cursed antiques, and it was like a supernatural type of series.
Right.
Different stories, whatever. But for some reason, I got glued to watching it every week. And I don't know. That was there was no relation to the movies at all. It was just Friday the 13th, the TV series. So just but it was created by Frank Mancuso Jr., which I think he had something to do with the original Friday, or one of the Friday 13th, I thought. Oh, A New Beginning, I guess. Okay, he was a producer on that one. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. He was a producer, did April Fool's Day, which was a good movie back. Oh, is that the new one? Maybe. Okay, I was kind of looking at his bio here, but Friday 13th, A New Blood, The New Beginning, the final chapter. Oh, and part 3 and part 2, I guess. He was an associate producer on part 2 and producer of that. But anyway, it was a decent TV show. I really don't know how it holds up today.
It probably doesn't. My guess is it does not hold up whatsoever.
Yeah. So anyway, the next one, and I struggle with this one because I don't know. I don't know. I watched 2 of these shows. I don't know where to put them. If I guess in honorable mentions, but I'll put one of them in here. Perfect Strangers. I watched that, and I don't even remember all about it. I just remember it being a funny show.
I never watched it, but I think that just
Balky.
Wasn't he like a foreign exchange student or I don't know, some shenanigans like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. I just remember watching it and liking it, when it was out. But I don't know how it holds up. So I was kind of see. Here's the deal. It's like I remember liking Bosom Buddies and this show.
Yes.
And Bosom Buddies, I think, only lasted a couple seasons. So I didn't know which one I watched more of. I don't know.
I watched Bosom Buddies.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I thought it was a great show, but I was confused on it. I didn't know where to put it. So I had the Fall Guy written down, but I'm going to substitute that. I mean, I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to put this one in there instead of it, since you already mentioned it, because it was in my honorable mention, but I did watch a lot of it. Charles in Charge from 84 to 90. And, so had Scott Baio from Zapped that we were talking about. Willie Ames. And I thought that was a funny show.
Yeah, I did watch it. I don't remember too much about it anymore, but I did watch it. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I thought it was a great show. I haven't seen it in so long, so I can't verify that it holds up, but I bet it does. And then the other one is Too Close for Comfort. I don't know if you ever watched that one, but that was
with Ted Knight. I just watched that like about 2 months ago.
Did you?
It was on there, and I watched like the first 3-4 episodes. Yeah.
Did it hold up? I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think it holds up. I mean it's that type of comedy from that era, and if you like that, yeah, it holds up.
Okay, 80 to 87, so it had a pretty good run through the 80s. And then this show I really loved. It was on, I believe, USA, and I just love this show for some reason. I stayed up late to watch it all the time. The Equalizer. Did you ever watch that one?
No, my parents did.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. It was that old. It was that old British guy. And,
yeah. But I just love those type of movies where they kind of revenge films or something. But you call him and he'll solve your problem. And
yeah.
And I don't know, something about The Equalizer I really liked. Starred Edward Woodward.
Yeah.
But I liked him. I liked his style. It was a good show, I thought.
Queen Latifah is now the new Equalizer.
Well, we'll pass on that one.
Yes.
We'll pass on that one. And then they had a couple movies, I think. With
Denzel.
Denzel Washington, yeah.
I'm sure those were good. I haven't seen them, but...
I haven't... I saw the first one. It was okay. I don't know. Something about the TV show was a little bit better for me. Maybe it was just that time. So my honorable mentions are, you already mentioned a couple of them, Silver Spoons. Daytime television. I did watch some Donahue when it was...
Oh, my grandma watched that. I was forced to watch Donahue when I was over at my grandma's house.
I don't know. I got addicted to watching daytime television. It was Donahue and I don't know, whatever else was on. I don't know. More so maybe in the 90s when they started really blowing up, but we'll get to that later. The other one that I watched a lot of, which isn't really a TV show, but it was a series. Not a series, I guess, but a show late at night. Every Saturday night, Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, that counts, I guess.
So, who didn't watch Headbangers Ball when it was when you were home on a Saturday night, if you were home?
Right. Yeah. Those were my disappointing weekends in my day.
I know. It's like I'm stuck watching Headbangers Ball.
When I wished I was out doing something fun, I was like, well, there's nothing going on. I'm stuck at home. I'll watch Headbangers Ball. Yeah.
I know there were some pretty depressing nights. I remember them. It's like, oh man, I'm nothing to do tonight. I'm watching Headbangers Ball, imagining I was out like.
But you know what though? You'd watch Headbangers Ball. And they would play a video of a band you'd never heard before, and it's like, you get a little bit pumped up, and then it would make it all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we found new music, for sure. It was how long did Headbangers Ball go on?
Probably
it began in '87. It had to go.
It went at least. Oh,
95. Yep. So yeah, that was that's a pretty good run, almost a decade.
Yeah.
Huh. Close. Wow. And then they killed it with the 90s music that we talked about. I guess that's it. I'm looking at everything, and it looks like that's my list for the 80s. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. That was our episode of our most watched 80s TV shows. And please subscribe to us. Check us out on all the platforms. Make sure you listen to the next episode when we go through the 90s, because some of the stuff that I really wanted to talk about actually fell more into the 90s than the 80s. And I think Steve could agree, because a lot of good shows started in the tail end of the 80s, like 89. So
Yes.
I don't know, Steve, you got anything else to say?
You can also find Steve on Grindr.
Yeah, you bastard. And if you have a problem finding us, just go to retromediatalk.com and you'll find all the links there. That's what I should say. It's just a simple website. Go there.
Right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Adios.
Good night.